When I was doing my research on the best gaming PCs under $1,200, I found out that getting a PC at that price point can be a bit tricky. You'll be tempted to spend way less and get a lesser machine. You'll even be tempted to spend more since the good stuff is just a few $100s away. There are three options that I will be very quickly presenting here, one of which is I think can be the best fit for you. First up, let's take a look at something that I think is worth getting, and it's not just under $1,200, it's under $1,100. Let's say your budget is strictly $1,200. Well, you'll still have extra cash for a monitor, a good keyboard, a good mouse, perhaps even a speaker or a headset. Meet the Skytech Azer. This machine has a Ryzen 7 5700X processor, which is a well-known mid-level processor by the way, but being 3 generations old won't necessarily matter too much when it comes to gaming. What matters is the GPU. And this one has an RTX 4060, which should be able to handle 60 plus FPS for more than 95% of all games with relative ease in 1080p. However, if you prefer 1440p gaming, you can manage a few games here and there, although you might have to lower a setting or two. Of course, a 4060 for an $1,100 PC is a very great offer. As for the rest, this PC has a 1TB SSD, 16GB of DDR4 RAM running at 3200 MHz, which I think is a bit of a bottleneck when it comes to productivity and multitasking, but I think it should be fine for gaming. Cyberpunk at 1080p ultra settings with ray tracing and DLSS 3 runs at an average of 106 FPS, which is pretty good considering this is notoriously one of the hardest games to run. As for Forza Horizon 5 with 1080p extreme settings, extreme ray tracing, and ultra textures run at a respectable 87 FPS average. With DLSS, I'm sure it can have twice the frame rate. Power is from a 650 watt gold rated PSU, and the cooling is provided by 240mm fans and an IO liquid cooler. Here's the QR code if you wish to check the Azer out in Amazon. And before we move on to the next, may I invite you to hit that subscribe button for more offers just like this one every single day. Next up, we have the MSI Codex R, which you can also get for under $1,100. The MSI Codex R has an Intel Core i5-13400F, an RTX 4060, and more RAM compared to the Azer, 32GB of DDR5 RAM to be exact. It's DDR5, so it's faster. It can be clocked to 5200 MHz. For storage, you can get this PC with either a 2TB SSD for under $1,100 or a 1TB SSD for under $1,000. The MSI Codex R became well known not too long ago for being on sale for $799, but that was back in last year's Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and you probably have to wait for such deals this coming holiday season, but that's 7 or 8 months away from now. Now, the gaming performance is the same as the previous PC since it also has a 4060 and it's neither overpowered nor underpowered by the CPU. Although you might get faster loading times for your games and programs thanks to the RAM. This is a better option than the Skytech Azer. It's better for an all-around setup. And the best part is that it's also much cheaper if you get the 1TB spec. Now, if you're interested in this PC, you can just scan this QR code or check the links in the description box below. Our last option is for people who are willing to shell out a few extra bucks for a much better performance. While both the Azer and the Codex have 4060 GPUs, for $1,279, you can get a PC with a 4060 Ti, and that PC is this, the Tac Shadow. For starters, the Shadow has an Intel 7 12700F, which is perfectly paired to the RTX 4060 Ti. It offers up to 25% more performance than the 4060 according to Nvidia, and those figures look pretty legit. It also has 1TB SSD for your storage and 16GB of DDR4 RAM that's running at 3200 MHz, which should present no problems to your gaming. Cyberpunk with the 4060 Ti gives you a wonderful 116 FPS average compared to the 67 FPS with the 4060. If you think about it, it is well within Nvidia's claim of up to 25% improvement. Forza Horizon 5 at 1080p Extreme gives off 109 frames per second as compared to the 87 FPS with a 4060. The 4060 Ti is perfect for 1080p gaming, although you might have to sacrifice a bit of eye candy if you want the smoothest 1440p gaming. I highly recommend this Tac Shadow, and it's currently available on Amazon. Go check it out. All links can be found in the description box below.